All right. On to the next one. Nerlen Noel. I said it probably. So he's a
Nerlens.
Nerlens. Okay, cool. Thank you for being here, bro.
That's
uh,
right.
so, so he's there's been a bit of media in the last couple of days of Clutch Sports representing him. We just go to the issue at hand was Clutch Sports asked him for 200 grand of commission when they represented him. He's come
Correct.
back saying he's countersued them with the about $50 million countersuit, saying that loss of salary. So the story is Clutch Sports didn't represent Nerlens during that time.
At that time.
Sorry,
Yep.
right at the beginning, right at the beginning. So Dallas offered him a $70 million deal, 4 years. Pretty good, right? At the time, personally, I'm
Yep.
like, dude, man, you got to sign that because I don't think he's a $70 million player. But
Overpaid. Yep.
yeah, for sure. If someone wants to overpay you, you take the money, right? So the story is he wasn't presented. He wasn't represented by Clutch then, but at an event, dinner, whatever, he was sitting next to he was sitting next to Clutch Sports.
Rich
The
Paul.
main guy, Rich Paul. Yeah, so he was sitting next to him, and Rich Paul was in his ear saying, "You're $100 million man." Yeah, and at the time, he's telling him that, and eventually he doesn't sign, and he signs with Clutch, saying that because he wanted Clutch to basically deliver on the $100 million deal.
Mm.
Yeah. So fast forward a bit more. He got injured for 30 games, Dallas, and then he signed something like $3 or $2 million deal, and he's lost salary since then, right? So he's become he had a chance to be a max player or close to max, and now he's muddling around mid-level to minimum, like depending on which team wants him, And so start with you, Ajay. What are your thoughts on this? Because this is not the first time we heard about Clutch, right? Clutch Sports. Let's be honest, right? It's LeBron James' agency. Like he uses his influence. He gets him into his boy, and then he signs him. But there's been I guess on the internet, everyone's saying that they prioritize the max guys like LeBron, Ben Simmons, AD, but then the other guys on the bottom tier, they're not as prioritized. Your thoughts on the situation? Is Noel right? Does Clutch Sport owns him 50 mil?
Look, at the end of the day, it's no difference with a shoe contract or NBA contract. And it comes down to one thing: performance. So if you don't perform, or if you're injured and you're constantly getting injured, you will be in scrutiny because you're not performing. I mean, certain people get away with it, like on low, getting paid that much to do very little. In the past, it was like Chandler Parsons, who earned like 100 million, but he had like 2 knee surgeries, but he just kept getting injured. But no one really knows about that. But because it just kept quiet. But this guy's trying to put headlines on himself, but you shouldn't put headlines on yourself, dude. Like, you weren't performing, you were always injured. That's why they prioritize top tier players, because those players are performing. So at the end of the day, if your performance doesn't equal to your pay, then what's the point? Like, then there's going to be a lot of scrutiny saying that you're overpaid. You're not really what you are. You're more than what you think. You're more than what you are. So to me, he should just kept quiet and just like understood the whole picture. I think he was just looking at a small spectrum of the picture, but he didn't look at the whole picture, which is, dude, you were injured a lot of times and you weren't performing. And that's why he prioritized others, because you weren't in the same level as them. Look at your stats. It's come down to that. It's pretty simple. We don't need to. It's not rocket science. I mean, those guys got prioritized because they were all stars. They performed. They're just big names. But you were on the bench. You were injured and you didn't perform. Simple. And then you can't sue him because what? You already had an agent that you didn't listen to, but instead you listened to Rich Paul, who wasn't your agent, and made a decision to sign with Clutch. So you didn't have an obligation to Clutch Sports. Your obligation was with your agent, but you overread his decision and made that decision instead. So that falls on you. And everything actually falls on him. He didn't perform as well. So there you go.
Yep.
So he shouldn't have sued or even trying to think of suing them, because at the end of the day, it's all on him.
Yep.
You went on the court, you went on the hardwood running up and down the court. So it's all in you, Nerlens Noel.
Yeah. So I feel that maybe the NBA needs to educate these players to understand what kind of player you are, right? Because coaching at a high school level, for myself, coaching at a high school level and coaching at high levels, like every parent or every player thinks they are the next LeBron James. You know, so that's why Nerlen Noel, when he had that $70 million deal, you know, because the league was still a big man league, right? It was transitioning from being a, you know, like a stretch five. Like you think about the teams, you had maybe a couple of teams that had stretch fives, but now the NBA today, everyone's a stretch five. You need a stretch five off the bench. Just look at the finals. Like, you know, look at the finals. Like every both teams had a stretch five that can shoot threes. So he kind of got caught. I guess let's put it this way. So let's say he had a shot at the hottest girl, but he wanted a hotter girl.
Okay.
You know, let's say he had a shot.
Let's go off topic. Okay, I understand.
Still a topic. So let's say that $70 million deal was maybe a girl that's an 8 out of 10. But Rich Clutch Boy says you can get a 10 out of 10 girl, and he's like, I want the 10 out of 10. But he like he was going to invest himself. He wasn't going to make himself better. You know, change his diet to basically not get injured, and then actually play better. Like, you know, you think about every player that's out there. If you wanted to bet on yourself, like sometimes it doesn't work, you know, and it's easy just to get the bag, right? But if you're a player, like, you know, you're a small forward and you can shoot, pass, and drive. If you have triple threat in the NBA, that's one of the positions where you can actually bet on yourself. You know, you get injured, like Victor, what's his name? Oladipo, correct. Yeah. So with him, he bet on himself, and he has all that, but it still didn't work out because he got injured. Then he's signing minimum with Miami, right? So that's another case of getting the max when you can. So with him, like he doesn't really have a leg to stand on in terms of 50 mil. But I think if he goes to court, maybe he doesn't pay the 200,000 that he's missing for Clutch, because the reports are that Clutch Sports didn't pick up the phone when like offers were happening. So we don't know if it's true. We don't know if it's true. And then in Nerlen too, he needs to show evidence of it in court, right, to make sure that it's valid. And he also needs a witness, like those things that caught him out. So we'll see. I think there'll be a settlement for sure. Like no one wants this to go to court, but Nerlen only countersued because the Clutch Sports asked for $200,000. I think he initiated an anger in him where he just reactive back to Clutch Sports.
That's true.
You know?
That's
true. Because he let it die for 2 years. He was like, okay, cool, I'm not gonna pay you guys. Cool, I'm gonna move on. And then next minute you get a bill, $200,000, where you felt like you lost 50 mil already. So it's just anger, right? So hopefully
but back to your example. At the end of the day, into whether it's basketball or dating or life or whatever, what they're really doing, what they're really looking at you for is the P word, potential. So if they can see the potential in you, then they will sign in and buy into what you are. You know, they can see how good you are now, and they can potentially see how good you can get better and later on. But dude, the thing that's going to take away from it is your injury history, unfortunately. So if you've got a bigger injury history than your potential, that's your ability to sign big contracts is not going to be there. So and
to Dallas too, they dodged the bullet. They dodged the bullet, you know.
That's true.
Because then they drafted Luka, and the inside game wasn't really needed. Like, you know, they didn't need to have that $70 million locked up in the center. They can't shoot, and only can play inside. So that type of player you can get for minimum now. So the moral of the story is, you know, secure the bag when you get it. Like, you think about Draymond Green. Draymond Green was in his last year. They offered him $100 million for 4 years. That's $25 million a year. He probably could have tried to get the max, but he's also a Clutch. He's also a Clutch client. So
Yep.
you know, like I'm pretty sure they said just secure the bag. He was getting run down. You think about his first year of the $4 million, first year of the four-year deal. Him and Curry were injured a lot just because they had that the finals run of like
Mm.
yeah, 4 straight. Yeah, so the lesson out there is if someone wants to offer you the bag, you take the bag, and then there's no issue, right?
Yeah.
Because if you took that $70 million, like he wouldn't have this issue, and he'd probably be traded here and there. But at the end of the day, someone's got to pay him.
That's right.
So stop being angry and just move on.
Should have passed on that message to Latrell Sprewell back in the day. But anyway,
He's got to feed his kids.
that's true. That's true.